Okay, boys and girls, let's get ready for Math Message 8-6. And we'll start off with our warm-up. All right, there are 36 children in the class. They sit in rows of 4. How many rows are there? Okay, so we know there's 36 children, and there's 4 in each row. So we could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. And then just go back and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or the most efficient way is you could look at this and say 36 is equal to 4 times what? So what is, or you could say 36 divided by 4 equals what? Okay, either way would get you there. So you should be trying to use the most efficient strategy possible. But if you can't, this always does work. All right, the next one is 8 children share 72 pennies. Once again, we can look at this and say 72 divided by 8 equals what? Or 8 times what equals 72. Once again, boys and girls, you can use whatever strategy it is to figure out what your answer would be. And if we go ahead and use a strategy to figure that out, our answer should have come to question mark is equal to 9. And once again, that's what 9 what? We want to put our unit on there, and that is 9 pennies. All right, on the last one, 3 children share 28 strawberries equally. How many strawberries do each one get? This one's a little more tricky, okay, because once again, I could be looking at that and saying 28 divided by 3 equals what? Or is there anything I can multiply by 3 to get to 28? Well, if you know your 3 facts, you know that 3 times 9 equals 27. So that's going to give me 1 left over. So this one doesn't work out as nicely. So I could look at that and I could start dividing up my strawberries, okay? And I would come up with each person would get 9, okay? And I'd have that 1 left over. Well, remember we talked about if it's a part that can be divided, and food can be divided. So we could take that strawberry, that 1 strawberry, and we know we have 3 children, and we could divide that into 3 parts. So each one would get 9 strawberries and 1/3. Okay? All right, let's get started on the actual math message today. Today we're going to talk a little bit about money, and who doesn't love money? Okay? 4 friends have 6 $10 bills to share equally. How much money will each friend get? Use $10 bills and $1 bills to act out the problem. So if you want to take a minute here and pause the video and use your money to try to figure this out, and when you're ready, come back and we'll discuss it. All right, the hint here tells us that the friends can trade for smaller bills. Well, first of all, I'm going to look at that and say I have 4 friends, but I have 6 $10 bills. So if I gave each of my friends 1 $10 bill, that would give me 40. Well, I started out with 60, so let's take away that 40 because I gave 40 away, and that leaves me with 20. Okay, so I have $20 to divide amongst 4 people. Okay, so if I think about that, 20 divided by 4, and that's a pretty easy one, so it would be 5. So each person would get 1 $10 bill, and they would get 5 $1 bills for a total of $15. Okay, good job. use whatever strategy it is that helps you figure this out. And you can always draw a picture if you don't have money around to use for this problem. All right, on the next one, it says, how much money do we have? Okay, we're going to start out with $52, and we want to share that equally amongst 4 people. So I'm going to go ahead and move this out of my way, okay, so I can share my money equally. All right, so I have $52 and I have 4 people. So let's start out with our $10 bills. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I have 4. What I have left is 1 $10 bill and 2 ones. So I'm going to go ahead and take this $10 bill and put it back, and I'm going to trade it in for 10 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Move these over. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So now I have $12 bills that I'm going to try to divide up equally with my 4. So let's go ahead and start giving everybody some $1 bills. And that worked out really good for us. So each person then would get $13. So then that tells me that 52 divided by 4 would equal 13. Okay? All right, let's turn to journal page 266. And this is a good time if you want to pause the video, do the journal page first, and then when you're ready, come back and follow along as we do the journal pages here together. All right, hopefully you got your journal pages done. Let's get ready and start. It says, if $54 is shared equally by 3 people, how much does each person get? Well, the first thing we want to know is, what does the D represent? And the D represents the number of dollars each person gets. Okay, and now we want to come up with a number model using my letter D. Okay, so I could look at this and I know I start out with $54, so that's my total amount. So I could take that $54, divide it by my 3 people, and that's going to equal my letter D, or the number of dollars each one gets. Or I could also look at that and say 3 times D equals my $54. Okay, either one of those equations would work. Okay, if I were going to draw a picture, okay, I could take and I could draw, each of these would be 10, okay, and 3 times 10 would equal 30, okay, and if I take the 54 minus the 30, that's going to equal $24 left over. So if I take the 24 and I divide that with my 3 people, that would give me $8 that each one would get. So we would take and put, this would be a $10 bill here, and then each one would get 8 $1 bills. So my total amount, let's see if that's on my slide here. Yeah, there we go. The total amount that each person would get would be the $10 plus the 8 ones. And if we add that up, each person should get $18. Okay, let's go on to our next one. Okay, if 68 is shared equally by four people, how much does each person get? Well, we know that the letter D is going to represent the number of dollars each get. The numbers of dollars that each person gets. All right. And then we're going to use a number model with a letter. So we could start out with $68. We're going to divide that by the four people. And that's going to give me my D for dollars, how many dollars we're going to get. Or I could take the 4 times my number of dollars that each one gets, and that would equal the $68. Okay? All right, it says use numbers or pictures to show how you solve this problem. So I could do it pretty much the same way I did before. I have 4. I'm going to go ahead and make that a little bit bigger. Okay, and I know that each person can get a $10 bill. So I don't have to start counting by just one. So if I have $68 minus my $40 that I've already given out, that leaves me with $28 left. Okay, and if I take my 28, divide that with 4 people, and we all know that 28 divided by 4 equals 7. Or I could look at that as 4 times what equals 28. So each person would get then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I could go ahead and put that to show in my picture how many dollars each person would get. And I could have done those separately if I did not know that 4 times 7 equals 28. I could just start putting $1 in each person's circle here until I got to the 28. Okay, so either way would not matter. That's using the strategies that you know. If you're one that could be a little more efficient and know your multiplication facts, like we've been trying to get you to know all year, guys, okay, you would have been able to do that. All right, so my answer should have been the 10 plus the 7, which would give me 17. So each person should have got $17. All right, and on the last part here, here's just 2 quick division problems for you. Once again, you could figure them out the same way we just did on the other page by using D as the number of dollars each person gets, and then coming up with an equation for them and drawing out your picture. So I could look at that and say 6 times what equals 72. Well, I may not know that, so I might want to draw out a picture and take off the $10, which would take me $60 off of there, which would leave $12 left. So each of them got $10 plus 6 divided by, or 12 divided by 6 would be 2. So they got $10 plus the 2. So each of them would get $12. Okay, and hopefully you notice here, I took that 60 away because 10 times 6 equals a 60. So if I look at my next one, I'm only dividing that up with 3 people. Okay, and in this case, 3 would be 30. So if each of them got one $10 bill, that would be 30. But if each got 2 $10 bills, that would take me up to 60. Okay, and now we've got 2 $10 bills. Okay, because 10 times 3 is 30, plus another 10 times 3 would give me 60. So if I subtract that, I get 24 divided by my 3, which would give me 8. So each of them would get $8 more. So my answer here would be 28. All right, good job. This is one that just requires you to think a little bit. All right, now let's take 49 divided by 4. Once again, if I take 4 times 10, each one of them would get 10. Let's take off that 40. Okay, that leaves me with 9. 9 divided by 4. Why, no, 9 divided by 4 isn't going to work out evenly because I've got an odd number and an even number dividing it by. Okay, but I do know that 4 will go into 8 2 times. Okay, that's going to leave me $1 left over for 4 people. So if I take that and I divide it in half, each of them's going to get a quarter. So if I add that up, that's 12 and 1/4 of a dollar. And if we think about that, we can divide the money up because we can break it apart. And a dollar would divide into 4 quarters. It's not like we're going to actually split money apart. We're going to separate it just like we did in all the problems before. We took a $10 bill and we took it and we broke it into $1 bills. We can take a $1 bill and we can break it into 4 quarters. So each person would get one of those quarters. Okay, so they would get $12.25. And I think we have one more, 93 divided by 6. We take that 60 off because everybody gets 10. That leaves me with 33. Okay, well, I should be thinking to myself, 6 times 5 is 35, so that's not going to work. So let's go with a 6 times 4. Or, I'm sorry, 6 times 5 is 30. Oh, Mrs. Rowland's losing it here. Okay, so we each would get 5. Then we're going to have 3 left over. Okay, so if I have 3 left over, remember, I can break that into, I can take those $3 and I can make it into smaller pieces. Okay, so if I have $3. Let's see how we can do this and make it easy. Here we go. Okay, and we're going to divide that into 6 people. Let's go ahead and just take it and say each one's going to be a quarter. So we would get 2, 4, 6 quarters. So that would be a half. So each one would get $15.½ Okay, and that 1/2 would be your 50 cents. Okay, so my answer would be 15 actual dollars and then 1/2 of a dollar. And that 1/2 of a dollar is going to be 50 cents. So that would look like this, $15.50. Some of you may notice those little decimals there. You might have had them on your math test that we just got done taking. All right, boys and girls, that's going to conclude our lesson today. Always think of nice strategies that's going to help you and come up with your best and quickest. You want to be efficient. We want to be efficient going into 4th grade. All right, guys, thanks a lot.